this.
Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo me escuchan? Ani, ¿me escuchas bien? ¿Me escucha bien? Muy bien. Bueno. Hola amigos. Bienvenidos a otro stream más con su presentador. Ark. El día de hoy tenemos algo fuera de lo normal. Tenemos una entrevista a un maker de artisans que tiene muy buen trabajo, amigos. A pesar de eso, va a estar muy interesante la entrevista. La verdad es una persona muy amigable. Y yo creo que muchos de ustedes conocen ya su trabajo. Es más, tengo una de sus artisans. No me llegó el que me gané la semana pasada, pero tengo uno para mostrarles. Huele hasta se bañó y todo, así es, me bañé. Es que contigo vi si no da ganas de bañarse, bro. Así es, me puse esta camisa, amigos. Bueno, ahora sí. El invitado de hoy es un maker que ha estado esculpiendo y haciendo el proceso, ¿no? de keycaps por muchos años, con mucha experiencia. Después de muchos intentos y diferentes esculturas, él está aquí para mostrar su camino, ¿no? Que ha tomado hasta donde estamos hoy en día, ¿no? Me gustaría que ustedes conozcan nada más y nada menos a Greg Hori, el que está detrás de Bad Habit Caps. My guest today is an artisan keycap maker who has been sculpting and resin casting caps for several years. We're experienced making thousands of keycaps and numerous sculpts. He's here to share his journey and process for designing and creating his craft. I am pleased to introduce Greg Hori, the artisan behind Bad Habit Caps.
Gracias, David. Thank you for having me today. I'm happy to chat.
I mean, you're the one who accepted to come, so that's more than I can say. You know.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Well, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I actually just dropped a raffle this morning. There's actually an event going on later tonight that I'd be happy to talk about. But yeah, things have
Right.
been going well. How have you been, David?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Pretty nervous, you know. First time interviewing like someone like live, right?
Mm,
Pretty new experience overall.
this is
Um,
definitely new for me too. When you reached out, I was super scared at first, not knowing what to expect. But I'm really open to your questions and hoping to get into some stuff.
well, like honestly, like the community for artisans, at least in Mexico, like
Mm,
making itself, it's not like very huge right now. It's like
mm,
it's mostly like either like 3D printed or like encapsulated on resin, right? On the acrylic, on the
mm.
so so first, how do you get into like do you get into mechanical keyboards before artisans, or how was like your whole process?
The beginning.
Yeah, how was the beginning of everything?
So I have to credit my brother
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of things, actually. He's been a huge positive influence for me. And I think it was probably maybe 4 or 5 years ago, he won this raffle, or two raffles actually, for a snapper, which is like a little turtle by
Okay.
suited up keycaps. And then he won a mayhem by Keyforge. And when I
Oh,
saw those, I was super hyped. I was just seeing the craftsmanship and the ability to have and create art
right.
for this space was very intriguing, and I was hooked.
Huh. So, so do you own any mechanical keyboards?
That's a good question. I do own mechanical keyboards. The first one I got is in front of me. It's a Corsair,
Oh
and it's
boy.
kind of like your standard. Exactly, exactly.
Oh boy.
I'm not super proud to share that, but it was when I was in my Counter-Strike gaming phase. I wanted
Right.
my cherry switches, just fast actuation. But thankfully, my brother, like he rescued me, and he gifted me an HHKB, which I really like.
Oh, that's nice.
Just having like the 60% with Topre switches, where he showed that there was other switches besides your cherries, MX stems, and more than that, he found a IBM Model M with buckling
Ooh,
springs,
that's pretty cool.
and dude, it's super sick. And I think those are two of my prized possessions. Actually, oh shoot, the other thing he got me was an IBM Model M space saving keyboard, and this one's still in its box, so I'm really
Wow.
treasuring that right now.
Oh, that's actually very sweet. Um,
Mm.
so you wanted some gaming switches, right? What's the best gaming switch out there in your experience?
Oh, man, this is where I'm going to be out of my league. I think I very much approach the hobby from like the artisan perspective, but
Right.
for me, I like the cherries just because it's really quick, smooth. There's no actuate or what is it? Um, Actuation bump
Okay.
or something like that. Yeah, but again, this is a I'm outclassed
Nah,
here.
don't worry. That was just miming. I didn't expect you to
Mm,
answer.
mm,
But
mm.
it's okay. So like, but like, do you own like a custom? Like, apart from the coaster that you have in front of you, they have like a custom keyboard.
Mhm. I don't. That is one thing
Hmm.
that will be my end game.
Well,
I'll have to.
I guess it's time to
Yes,
end the stream, boys.
it's over. Game over.
Game over. Okay then. How and when did you decide to like have your hand in sculpting and like casting artisans?
Oh, sculpting for me came into the picture really early. In high school, I was really fortunate to have an amazing sculpting teacher.
Mm-hmm.
We had this class, and I took the class for 3 years. And this teacher was incredible. His name is Mr. Wind, like what moves clouds, Mr. Wind. And he was energetic. He was quirky, funky, and weird in the best ways.
Right.
And Mr. Win let us really experience and explore our own creativity. He taught us basic sculpting techniques with clay and paper mache. We did cloth mache. We did like 3D stencil cutting with X-Acto blades, and it was a bunch of different materials. So that experience definitely put me on to working with my hands and realizing that, oh, I can maybe sculpt. And to answer your second question with the relation to
Yeah.
artisans, it was definitely when my brother showed me those first two.
Those two.
I thought, oh wow, maybe I can do something like this. And, started doing some Google searches.
Right. And what was like your first sculpt? Like, do you have in hand like your like the first like master that you made like for your first sculpt?
Oh, for keycaps? Oh man, the first ones I made were garbage. I would be ashamed to share. I can share pictures, but I don't. I think I have those. Actually, I know I still have those, but the first sculpt I was actually content with was my tiki. That one was like actually I have a cast I made, but the master is I think it got destroyed.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Sad.
Like, then like how, like, starting casting to get like the whole equipment, right? Like, how did you manage to were like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna invest this amount of money, and then you actually went ahead and actually did it, right? Because it's not cheap,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You have, yeah.
That's a good question. There definitely is financial commitment if you want to make artisan quality keycaps. And I don't mean to say that kind of like from a like arrogant point of view. There's a certain standard I believe that people expect for quality, and a big part of that is to have no bubbles.
Right.
And in order to do that, you need your pressure pot, your compressor, and those together combined are probably around maybe like $600.
Oof. Yeah.
But again, this is where my brother has been so helpful. He and his girlfriend gifted me, wife now, he and his
Wow.
girlfriend at the time gifted me a compressor. And thankfully I had some savings, so I got a pressure pot and was able to start experimenting.
Wow. That's actually very cool. Like a couple of days before, like when I was searching things for the interview, I started trying to look up like at least like somewhat cheap things that you can start with, and like the least for each thing it was at least like maybe like 150 for each thing. So like I was like, yeah, maybe it's not that easy like financially to start with, but I think something that it's very important is like how do you actually price like your caps, right? Like how do you get to the point like you know what, I think for this cap the price is 50 or more, right? For
Yes.
you.
Yes. Or are you asking how I think about pricing my
Yeah,
keycaps?
how do you think? Yeah.
Oh man, that is the question. Yeah, actually, I've kind of struggled with this idea because it means that I have to value my work and my art, and with that, I have to consider the time I invest in making each cap, the time I've made for like learning and experimenting, and then also what I think my art is worth, which is completely different than what my fans may see or how that my fans may value what an individual design or casting colorway looks like, or even just how other people may value my own time. That is something that I still kind of struggle with. But I guess to give you a perspective of my process, when I first started, I had my first raffle, and I think at the time I looked at Mech Market and Keyforge was dropping his caps for I think $70, $60 or $70.
Yeah, I think
And
they're about the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So recognizing that, I think I just like, oh, I'm gonna do half of that. So I sold my first ones for $35, and then as I began to grow more experience and grow more confidence with my casting and my sculpting,
Mm-hmm.
I adjusted my prices where my end goal is to be able to match, or I mean maybe even exceed some of these makers and the quality, creativity. But again, I mean you're also exploring the idea of market dynamics. What the question is, what are people willing to pay,
Right.
and that also comes into the picture too.
And like how do you usually take to make a new sculpt? Because I know like it can be like
Mm,
between many months, like to get it like
yeah.
from the like conceptualization from the idea to actually
Mm,
start sculpting it, and then like, oh, you know what, I think this is good, right?
mm.
How long does it take
Ooh.
you?
I guess thinking about my last sculpt,
Yeah, like yeah.
um, mm, I made a little, I call it the junk art. It's
Mm-hmm.
a kind of like a vehicle, and this was from the Zbut community server sculpting
Okay.
challenge,
Mm-hmm.
which if anyone is interested in getting into artisans, I would highly recommend diving into the oh, I see you, Slime, the Zbut community server. Um, but so they have these sculpting challenges, and for that, the typical design process I go through is thinking about a theme, which is provided by the sculpting challenge, and then doing some research online and just looking at images that I might get some inspiration from. And then typically I draw out different ideas. And then once I have these drawings and can visualize the keycap, I go
Right.
in and start messing around with the clay.
Hmm.
With this last sculpt, the design process, being kind of the research and drawing, took maybe a week or two, a couple hours every day.
Hmm.
Once I got the idea, I was spending maybe 3 to 4 hours, 5 days a week for 3 weeks. So that's say,
How many hours again?
so maybe like 60 hours. So it's
60
like
hours.
I try to make like 3 to 5 hours a
That
day. I mean this. So again, this was an exception where I
right,
was really
because
diving
for
into the
the
scope.
right, and it was like a for a
Yeah,
challenge, right? So you had
yeah.
a little bit of
And
time.
there's like a close timeline.
Right.
Um, but yeah, for that one, I spent a lot of time.
Huh.
I
That's
think that's pretty typical. Yeah. Hmm.
um that makes sense. Like like for example, like I have one example. Like I don't know, do you know like Raf Caps?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's been working on the
Yes.
Scout for
Yes.
months. I think he made like a couple of cells like
Mm.
in between, but like he's not done with it, and it's like easily working like maybe like mid 2019, and he hasn't made like a real like a full fledged cell for it, you know. Like yeah, I can see
Mm.
like you guys take like your own time, and then like what like but what do you think of like multi shots, like artisans?
Oh.
How hard are they to
Mm.
make? Like do you have to think beforehand like the structure it to like, oh yeah, so I can like change these colors if I cast it this way, and then another way
Oh
like
yes.
for the multi shot. Like
Oh, multi shots.
yeah.
That's its own game. But before you we jump to that, first off, yeah, I got a lot of respect for what Raph does. I mean, more than just artisans. I've seen him do like huge community effort, like donations, and I got a lot of respect for his craft. But you touched on something where it's kind of like the balance of being able to just accept your art and then be willing to share, and that's kind of along the lines of the self valuing and being able to just be okay with your art. What's up, Emily? I see you. But in terms of the multi shots, that's tricky. I think I would imagine different artisans have different approaches. I've
Right.
seen people have really extensive templates where you can do a digital mock-up and get a feel for what color placement may look like. I'm not that tech savvy. Hopefully, I'll get there someday. But the way I do it is very much by experimenting. I kind of just try to visualize it, and the more familiar you are with your sculpt and your molds, then the better feel you can get for the process. And I mean, the casting part is a whole nother learning experience, I would say,
Hmm.
where every mold has kind of its own different grooves. There are different areas for that may hold resin better or worse than others. And multi shots is something that I'm still trying to improve on. I mean, there are often times I pull caps out of the pressure pot and am really happy, and sometimes where it's just had no idea what I was doing, but it's part of the process.
I can see that. Like your last raffle, right, and the one that I won. Those are multi-shot, right?
Yes.
Yes. I think I do like the way you make them. It's like a nice like grading kind of deal. I pretty cool.
That one, yeah. Thank you, David. That one was a little different, where I poured the resin, multiple resins of different colors at the same time. Whereas sometimes you might multi-shot by pouring one color, let it sit and cure, and then pour another one, let it sit and cure. So depending on what effects you want to get, that one had a little bit more of the blending, and I appreciate that.
Bisu is asking what's a multi-shot.
Oh, that's a good question. A multi-shot, I guess first starting with what a shot is. A shot of resin is a colloquial term for one pour of resin. So typically the way you make a keycap is you have two parts of resin, and then you combine them and mix them, and then you pour that. So that first pour would be one shot. Right. If you want to create different color combinations or effects, and you do multiple pours or multiple shots to get this multi-shot of caps. And I feel like it's the standard now. I mean,
like I'm showing you right now to the screen. Oh wait, I don't think they can see it properly. Wait, so I'm showing. You can see this, but like for example, I'm showing Bisu. That like you see like this is a different color like by itself. This is another color by itself. Then it's called like multi-shot, right? Because it's you need to let it cast before you actually do the other one, and like people use this like, and then this makes the price increase a lot more because like it's more effort, more casting time per cap, right? Yeah, like for example like Glenn the Black, I think like he has I really like his work, you know, like he has some really nice multi shots, like he does like a lot of shots in one cap, right? Yes. Like
it's funny you say typically the more shots the higher the value.
Yes.
It's like on the one hand there are, if you can see that and notice it, you can have that appreciation. And then on the other hand, sometimes the cap just resonates with you, even if it is a single shot. And I think it just speaks to the different perspectives, and kind of back to your point about how people value the caps and how makers value their own caps too.
Yes. Someone is asking like, do you make them one by one, or do you put them on the pot like in a series of, you know?
When I first started, I was definitely making them one at a time, just to familiarize myself with the sculpts and the molds. And when I make a new cap, that's what I do, just to learn the intricacies of how to cast it. Now I'm fortunate to be in a position to share more of my caps. So I have, thanks to Zappy Caps again, Z-Butt Plug, definitely check that out, molds that have enough to do like 10 caps at a time. So I might pour, actually I just did a batch where I think I had maybe like 8 shots or something,
that's
for
a lot
10
of
cap mold. So again, I mean the level of design and standard is ever increasing, and it's awesome to see people pushing the limits.
Right. What do you think of like new makers and how they are like pricing their caps, like for the debut sales of a new art, like new sculpt, right? Their first sale, new sculpt, and you see them selling them at like 60 and then plus shipping, right? What do you think of that kind of things?
Yes, it makes me think of two things. The first is, what do I think of new makers, and the second is, how do I think of their pricing scheme? But I think you bring up a great point, which is a good transition of what we were talking about. Is keycaps are growing. there are a lot of artisans who are interested in sharing and making their art for whatever their reasons, and I think I see that as really motivating. I mean, it's increased exposure for all of us. It pushes other people to make and create better things, and I think for the community in general, it's just incredible. For your next point about their pricing, again, I think this is something that I struggle with, and it's hard for me to speak on.
Mm-hmm.
People will value their own art in a certain way, and then the fans and supporters will value the art they see in a certain way. And again, I think this is typical market dynamic. If people are willing to pay and you have the ability to provide that supply, then it seems natural to meet that demand. But for me, I'm not super in touch
Mm-hmm.
with pricing or maybe that many of the new makers. I know for me, it's like really easy to just compare and just kind of fall into that mentality, and I try to just focus on what I can do.
Look, I can maybe give you an example. Like, you know, Sadi Caps,
Soda caps, yeah.
yeah, who makes Fubsy, right? So the for like
Mm.
the first sale of Fubsy,
Mm.
it was last year around mid-year, right? Maybe June,
Okay.
July, and like they were new makers and stuff, so they priced their Fubsy first round.
Mm.
It was $45,
Okay.
and then I think they did like a couple of more sales, and then that's it. And then like maybe like a month ago, they decided to make a new
Mm.
Fubsy run,
Mm.
and they increased the price from 45 to 75. So that's to me that was like a huge price jump, you know. And like I honestly like didn't like I can see and I understand like the makers like setting up like their own prices, right? Like I'm okay with that. If
Yes.
you tell me like,
Yes.
look, I to me this is justified, then okay. But then like I went and I asked on their Discord, maybe I
Mm.
missed something, right? I asked something like, oh hey, I would like to know why the pricing of the Fupsy, which is like a new colorway only, right? It's the same sculpt.
Yes. Yes.
Why did it increase so much, right?
Yes.
Um, and they basically like they kind of told me to like the people like not Saudi itself, right? Nor the like their boyfriend. It was
Sure.
like just like the people in the chat. They were like they were like they got kind of aggressive with me because for asking, you know, like for some I didn't like I didn't ask it like in a wrong way either. You know, I just you know wondering, right?
Sure. Sure. There's a question.
Yeah, it was a question, and
Hmm.
like, what do you think, like in this like in this case, right? Will you see
Yeah.
that as like it's okay to increase the price like that much, right? Like almost twice.
Hmm. I mean, when you're talking about Sody caps, I saw their most recent sculpt, and it's super sick. The way they're doing they riff on their original sculpt with the encapsulation.
Right.
But in terms of pricing jumps, again, I mean, I can only really speak for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and this is really something that again I struggle with. But I think one way to think about it is if you just do a pure numbers calc of the amount of hours that you put in,
Right.
um, and how long it takes. I mean, you spoke on and asked how long it may take to make the sculpt in itself, and then that doesn't even count the time and effort it takes to pour each of the shots, each of the caps, clean the caps, post the sale, and do the fulfillment. And I think it's different for a lot of people. I mean, for me, as we spoke before, I've been doing this full time, and I've been fortunate to be able to support myself. You know, like pay for my rent and eat food, so I'm not like on the street. So like I have different needs than maybe Sodi or other makers, and
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
you just
that
kind of
makes
have to
sense.
consider those. I actually heard another perspective too,
Mm-hmm.
where if you make a comparison of maybe an equivalent job, where you may have, let's say, an industrial engineer who is designing individual custom keycaps, what that position may look like, where they're putting the same amount of hours into creating, say, the new keycap for a new switch or a new switch, and I mean, you're still putting the same energy, the same intention. There's still that intelligence and knowledge of the industry that goes into creating this individual keycap. And that's another fair comparison. Even though it's art versus
Right.
maybe engineering design, you still have this time and specific knowledge that people may value differently. And again, I mean, the value question is like it's something that I still have trouble thinking about.
I mean, I can see the point of comparing to like someone who like designing something specific, right? But like I feel like artisans are kind of hard to. It might be possible like to keep replicating, right? Because I know, like for example, like the master mold, eventually it's gonna get deteriorated, right? Then you have to make a
Mm,
new mold for it.
yes.
Then like I think like for example, let's say like switches, they can be easily mass produced, right? You just put the
Hmm.
file in, then like get a mold for it, and then you just keep printing switches, right? Like for artisans, I don't think it will applicable the same, just because like I think that like the rules for them or like the whole casting process, it's different, right?
Hmm.
I don't know what you think about that, for example.
You bring up a good point.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking about mass producing
Mm-hmm.
or scaling, the process looks very different for artisans than, say, plastic, your PVT
Right.
keycap sets,
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing a group buy. At the same time, I think, again, that speaks to how people may value it, where there's a certain scarcity. The individual artisan
Right.
can only make a certain amount. At the same time, there is the potential to have a 100 cap mold with resin that cures very slowly, and you can do huge batches with artisans, and it's just a matter of balancing the demand and how you value your art, and if you can still produce something that you're proud of making or something that you can still create at that scale. And I mean, it's kind of the cross section of business and art.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about valuing art, I mean, already like
Yeah. Yeah.
people think very differently about that. I mean, you can have like a Rothko painting that is priceless, and maybe some kids like 5-year-old could make something equivalent, but it doesn't have the same story and it doesn't have the same community. And people just see it differently and appreciate it differently.
I can say that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Changing a bit the topics, like what do you think of 3D artisans, 3D printer
3D
artists?
3D
Yes,
artisans, yes,
yes. Like,
man,
what's your stand on that?
yeah. Uh, Again, this is kind of talking to the new artisans. There are a lot of makers entering the game with crazy design experience and creativity. I was just talking with somebody yesterday trying to pick his brain about a cap I saw him make, and just the level of detail you can achieve, the clean lines is something that I could only hope to practice to achieve with sculpting by hand. So I got a lot of respect for 3D printed artisans. I mean, it's a whole nother game, and it's something that I should probably learn more about.
I agree. I think it has their own like kind of like different tools, right? Because like you have more
Mm,
mobility and you know you don't run out of using Blender, right? I guess so you can
hmm.
just keep modeling until you're like, you know what, I'm satisfied with this, and then you just keep working on this. Like
Yeah.
like to me, they are still artisans, but I know like some
Hmm.
people will disagree, right? Like for example, like like
Mm,
Plakis, right? He's been making
hmm.
artisans for a very long time, right?
Yeah.
And like most of his work is like 3D printed, and then he hand paints them, right?
Hmm.
And it's like a whole process, right? Like to like
Yes.
from the conceptualization using Blender to actually printing, and then seeing like if actually people like it, right?
Yes.
Um, to the people like who don't see it, like who don't see like 3D artisans as
Mm.
artisans, like wow, what would you tell them, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or
That's a good question.
like
I mean, yeah.
mhm. Like people like just printing them and they're like here, like a blank,
Hmm.
you do you, right?
Hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, again, you're exploring. I think these are great questions. I mean,
Hmm.
you're speaking to completely different processes that create something very similar. And this makes me think. I mean, this is just off the top of my head. You can have people who make movies or art digitally,
Hmm.
or you can have like claymation where they're doing it with the physical objects, and two completely different art forms that have very different processes that produce something very similar. And this kind of ties back into how people perceive that and how they appreciate that, and everybody's going to see it differently, right? I mean, you and I'm sure, have very similar appreciations for artisans,
Yes.
and then we probably think of things differently as well. But
Hmm.
yeah, if someone may not view 3D printing as artisan, and I guess it's just a matter of definition and how people see art and appreciate art.
I
Because
agree.
I imagine Clackkeys puts the same amount of time, if not more, and attention and energy towards making his keycaps or their keycaps as say I do or another maker. And who's to say Clackkeys' time is any more or less valuable than someone else's?
Yeah, I think I actually agree with that. Honestly, it's cool to, to see like the different, like, I think there's one guy on Instagram called Pizza something. I think he's maybe Asian, I think.
Okay.
And like
I like
he
pizza.
does a lot of, no, I mean, not because like I think he's most of like his stuff on Instagram is like in Chinese. So like
Okay.
he works in Blender, and he has like, and he puts like crazy
Oh,
details.
pizza.
Yeah, you know pizza, right? I
Mhm.
think, yeah. So he put
That
crazy
slime you remind me.
details
Yes.
in his art designs, and to me it's like, so like behind my mind I'm like, how can you actually like do multi-shot on this? I don't think he
Oh.
does multi-shots, right? He just prints them and then
Mhm.
hand paints them, right? like like
Yes.
I think they're like very different, but like,
Mhm.
like in my mind I'm like, how can he cast this and make multi shots? Because I know like I
Mhm.
personally like more like multi shots than hand painted ones,
Mhm.
and I feel like the detail
Mhm.
like it says better. But like behind my
Mhm.
I'm thinking like, how can he make this to be able to make it like multi shot? Like it's like it seems so hard,
Mm.
to make them multi
Mhm.
shot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
I
seen his
mean, I
work?
think if you say that again,
Have you seen his work of pizza?
I have actually. Yeah. Yeah. Slime is reminding me. We were actually just talking about this last week. The detail, both for his hand sculpts and for his digital designs,
Mm-hmm.
are insane. And it does raise a good question. How can you cast this in a compelling way? And I mean, if he can answer that for you, then you're a fan, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's
Yeah.
part of the process. But I mean, you kind of touched on something that I've been questioning, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, so I sculpted my tiki. It was like my first sculpt that I sold. I think maybe like 4 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had multiple sales for it. And
Yes.
despite the fact that it's the same sculpt, the popularity or demand differs based off the colorway. To your point, being
Yes.
people value the aesthetic differently based off the color or the way it's made. And that's something that's very intriguing about the hobby, where you might have one sculpt um, that has many different colors, yet it's valued differently based off the colors rather than the sculpt itself. And I think that's kind of just speaks to people's different tastes in art. And I mean, you can still have amazing sculpts with single shots that people will
Right.
treasure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually have a like really good example of that with like the OG Clack like skull. I don't know the name. I forget the name.
Do you have it?
Um,
Like you can show it off, maybe.
I actually do. Yes.
Yeah.
This is my brother's. This is my brother's collection. Happy
Please
to
show it
flex.
off. Yes.
So
Flexing.
this is like one of the OGs. Like this is like the first one of the first people who really established the artist. I don't know if my camera can pick it up,
Oh,
but you'll see. So
that's a nice
the
one.
part of one thing about this is like the history behind it, where I believe the maker for this keycap was one of the pioneers of this hobby,
Yes.
and then having that understanding and appreciation changes the way somebody may value it. Where if somebody were to 3D print that now,
That's
for that similar design, they may not have the same appreciation for something like that.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
do you happen to have maybe any gaff caps?
Oh, dude, I wish I could. Oh man, so
I had to
that's
try.
actually
I had to
that's
try.
a very good. I mean, for me, I actually approach the hobby as a maker first, and not so much as a collector. Yo,
I know, I
Slab
know.
has a sick gaff gap,
He
but my
does.
brother has some cool type beasts. He has Garbos too.
Wow.
Like I'm very envious, but
I entered too late for
yeah.
Gaff Cavs, man. And now I think he's not making anymore for some family stuff going on with it.
Mm,
But man, that's like, like that he's my like favorite maker, right? Like I don't have a problem with saying that, right? Like he's my favorite maker, and but yeah,
mm.
his caps are way too expensive for me to like aftermarket. Like what do you think of?
Aftermarket's a whole nother game.
Yeah, like what do you think of like artists like gaps like that go for over 2K on make aftermarket?
Whoa. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa. Aftermarket. Yeah. How do I think about aftermarket? It's a whole nother universe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess it raises a few questions for me. Like on the one hand, it's you can ask, oh, how is the artist? Like, is the artist being rewarded or compensated for this? And it makes me think. I mean, if it's clearly a demand and it speaks to kind of the scarcity. I mean, you see aftermarkets like aftermarket dynamics in many different areas, be it shoes or cars or keycaps. But I mean, I think if people are willing to pay, and if there's something that merits that value, and there's something that's high enough quality, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, if you have a one of a kind, any kind of object creation, and somebody highly values that, then I mean, maybe 2,000 is equivalent to $2 for me, for them. So I mean, it's very different.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can see that.
again, aftermarket is pretty different. Like I
No,
don't
I know,
really
like, but like,
have a good understanding.
things like because we know like art, like pieces of art go for thousands and millions of dollars, right?
Sure,
Can you see like artisans maybe eventually one day, like in a very far
Oh,
future, can you
interesting.
see them like like pieces of art that you can actually need to pay like over $100, $100,000 to actually get
Mm-hmm.
those?
Hmm. I guess that's not really up to me. I don't know if
No,
I'll have that kind of money to spend on
you can see
artisans.
art like normal like
But
paint arts, right?
I hear your question.
Mm-hmm.
I think I hear your question. It's like, what, or is your question like, what is the future value for artisans,
Yeah.
or like, what is the potential for future value?
Like,
Oh, since the
do you think it can reach that
they're
point?
coming, they're coming.
Oh no.
Again, I think it just depends on who values what. I mean, if Jeff Bezos gets in the artisan game, then it'll be completely different, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you have two whales who are competing and they have similar interests, it's very different than the way the community is now, and, or maybe it's not different. Again, the aftermarket's it's hard for me to project or predict the future of valuing this. Again, valuing art is something I don't even know how to value my own gaps.
Yeah.
I've had people tell me how much to charge, and yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's just like, asking maybe. Because I honestly I can see maybe Golfworks being worth like $2,000, right? But
Mhm.
but at the same time, like, is it really worth it? Like, it's a more like vanity thing. Like it's like more
Mm.
like
Oh,
it's
that's
not,
interesting.
because it's not something that I need, right? Like no one needs it, right?
Mhm.
Technically, but
Mhm.
it's like, oh, I want to have it. It's like something really nice. It's very niche, like
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like why do people value these things differently, or how do people value these things? First off, what's up, Alad? I see you. But yeah, I think it's different for different people, right? Like some people it might instill a certain emotion, or
Mhm.
for other people it might represent like a relationship, and for other people it might be like a flex. Like, shoot, I have a one of one art key. Yeah, I would love to say I have a one of one art key of one sculpt of one design. Like
That would be
that would
crazy.
have value,
Yeah.
right? Like, and
That would have
it really
crazy value.
depends. I mean, that's up to both the maker if they want to try and be more exclusive or more accessible, and that's also up to the community how they value and see that.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, so changing a bit, what do you think of metal artisans like like
Yes.
Ramas, and like I think there's more. There's now talk that like that did a collab with Tiny. I think. Well, like, what do you think of
Okay.
those?
Oh, was that the mustache ones?
Yeah, yeah, the mustache ones. Yeah,
Okay, dude. I mean, the metal aesthetic is so clean. I see it as something that I can't do right now with
I mean, you
clay.
could maybe cold casting, right? I think it's the closest.
Right. That's fair. I mean, I think again, it's like claymation versus digital art. Like
Right,
there are different ways to create these, and I mean, Rama, just the quality outside of keycaps, just the
right,
quality of um, craft, like the quality that he puts into or that they make in their craft is something that I would love to emulate. But yeah, metal artisans are super sick. I mean, just being able to have the cleanliness, like the clean lines and like the shine is way different than say like a resin casted, like a resin casted artisan that's a sculpture or encapsulation.
right.
So it's a completely different aesthetic.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't. I don't see. I can see like it's very hard to maybe replicate like some details. Like if you try to
Mm-hmm.
match in like a metal cap, maybe in your sculpts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like because I know like
Mm-hmm.
when you do the machining, it needs like some angles on it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
maybe you wouldn't be able to have like as much as detail if you have something, when you actually
Mm-hmm.
work on those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Actually, no, yeah, now that you mention it, I have seen someone who was able to achieve a similar effect, and I don't believe it was in metal. Um, I can't remember who, but I imagine if you do get a metal artisan from Rama and make a mold, you could probably achieve a similar effect, but the story is going to be very different, right? Where
right.
you have different way to make that. But I see novels asking about what is
What's
cold
gold
casting.
casting?
Yeah. Cold casting is basically using metal pigments. So it comes in like a powder form, and you mix that in with the resin. So effectively, I mean, ideally, you can get like up to maybe like 50% of the cap be say like copper or aluminum. So that's effectively a metal cap when it's mixed with the resin, and you can get some really cool effects. If you like scrape it, it can be like worn, or if you like shine it and polish it, then it can be really smooth.
Oh, I didn't know you could do. Like I know, I don't know. Like I'm never. I don't know a lot of cold casting itself, but I know like at all.
My,
But I know
oh,
like
sorry,
I
sorry.
didn't know like you could mix like you have to like you actually mix like metal. I think it was like more like a finishing kind of thing. But
Mm.
like I didn't know like, you actually mix metal with it.
I think it depends, because there are a ton of pigments. But one video shoot that I was shared with, I think it used like copper. It's like copper or different pigment. You can achieve similar effects with say like a copper colored um, uh, pigment.
Like is it any more difficult? Nobody's asking. Is it more difficult to make
For
cold casting?
cool. It's the same process of getting the two separate resins and then adding a colorant or pigment and then mixing them. So
Not
it's
really.
not much different. Um, where it would differ is if what your intention is for the designer, like what the aesthetic is, be it like like a shiny or worn worn look.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we talk about flipping art, like, but like
Mm,
things like I think it's very interesting, like the flipping, like the aftermarket game.
yeah, yeah,
It's crazy,
it
like I
does
don't
seem
think
crazy.
the only like my most like expensive thing that I have on my collection right now. It's a bongo cat, that I won in
True
a in a
bongos,
in a
yes,
raffle like last year, and
bongos are sick.
it's just like I get like if I needed money, then I could just easily flip this, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have now cash.
Yes.
But it's like
Hmm.
people buying them for like, or even like there's I'm pretty sure there's like private sales or private like auctions for them, like that only like maybe like selected members actually participate in. Like I think like I was reading on like some obscure Discord channel like they were talking about they were like talking about like do you saw like the auction for these 3 artisans for 10K? I'm like, what? 3 artisans for 10K?
Yo.
Like,
Yo.
it's like,
Yeesh. I mean, that reminds me of. I remember seeing Keyforge drop. I think it was like Tears of Assyria or something. Not Assyria. Tears of something. There were 2 caps on eBay, and they went for over a couple $1,000s. And I mean, I think it speaks to the quality, their story that they've created, the community they built. I mean, I have my brother's collection. He has like, or not collection. I have a few of his caps, and I mean, he has like 2 of Keyforge's shishis. I know they're not pronounced that way, but like, again, it's like they're made of resin.
right.
I make my caps from resin, yet there's completely different stories and aesthetics behind them.
Yes, that's very true. Like the whole process, like to what happened to them. Maybe like I know like some makers just stop making caps, right? So there won't be new colorways, there won't be new sculpts, right? But like for example, I have this one. It's like a chocobo, right, from Final Fantasy. I don't think it's very well. But like his name was like Roy Meets the World, something like that. And so he made many of those, right? But then I even won one giveaway of like one of the one, right?
Oh, yo, yeah.
And I think he had a kid. He even put a thing on mechanical keywords. Oh, new build or something like that. It was pretty funny. So, and then like he just disappeared, right? And but like you don't see his caps on the market. I haven't seen them at all. And if I do see them, they're like stock prices or even below retail, right? So it's kind of like curious to see like how they evolve, right? Like how like let's say like one of Keyforge does have such a value like an old colorway than a current one, right? Like I know like most like for example this red, like I don't know, you can see that like for example the dragon, right? I don't remember the name right now.
Orochi, Keyforge, yes.
So like I bought this one for like retail price.
Yes.
And like if you see like some old colorways, like almost similar to these colorways, like $300 or $400, like oh god, things like that, It's like
I hear you. I mean, I think you bring up two. Sorry to interrupt. You bring up 2 things. Like for me with Keyforge, I like the dragon a lot more than the cat lion. But the shishi is way more popular. And again, you speak to like kind of the complexity of the casting, where Keyforge does like very kind of minimalistic casting aesthetic. But yeah, one question this raised for me that I've been curious about and have yet to explore is, are there other markets that are similar to keycaps, artisan keycaps, that have similar trends, like with this aftermarket nature, this huge surge of new supply, this new makers, and I mean, if you think about mech market, there's like I think about 200,000 people last I checked. So I mean, it's been growing. I think at the beginning, like last year, it was only like 120,000. But I mean, the artisans have been around for maybe like 15-20 years, and that's like super early. But like the mass like market artisans like now, it's probably been like 5 years. Like
I think
it felt that way at least when I started. But it's like it's very much still like new. It feels like a new space, and it seems only natural that there'll be an influx of new energy and creativity. So again, it's just kind of I'm just curious to see because it explores a lot of your questions about like how people may value caps and then how people like sell them aftermarket.
But do you think are we going to reach a point like where saturated of artisans or like makers?
Saturation, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about all the new makers. Um, I mean, again, I kind of, my perspective for new makers is it's
Mhm.
like new energy, and it's really
Right.
motivating. Um,
So you like
this is
seeing
kind
new
of a
makers.
yeah, it's kind of like a non-answer. If the question is like for me, where do I see myself in this
Hmm.
space of new makers, or where do I see myself in the future where there are maybe like 10 times more makers or artisans? And this is something that I've really been questioning, especially as I like have chosen to dive into this full time.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of my approach has been informed by this article by Kevin Kelly. It's called A Thousand True Fans. And the idea is instead of trying to develop like a super sick product, the focus is more on like building relationships with individuals. So like being able to chat with you here, David, it's awesome. Like thank you. Like
Oh,
again, I have to thank you for like just this chance to have a conversation like this. And it's really about like building these relationships where I mean I heard another thing. I don't know if you're familiar. I was watching Netflix. There's this show called Last Chance U.
I
It
haven't watched it.
follows junior college sports programs, and there's this basketball coach.
Okay.
And one thing he said was, I would recommend for all the
I'll
if
probably
people are interested
watch
in
it. Yeah.
sports stuff. But this basketball coach basically said, in the context of basketball, oftentimes people focus too much on the basketball, and when they get lost in that and they're so zoned in on basketball, they forget the importance of the people. It's like the players, the team, the community, and the coaches. And that's something that I've really been transitioning to think is just. I mean, I've been so fortunate for like freaking like Slime, like Mike, and I see Alan out there, like just being able to share my art with these people and connect like in the Discord and just get to know them. And, I mean, I think that is where. I mean, to your question, yeah, market saturation.
It's okay.
Being able to build a community
So for you, it's
is
more
important.
important the community
Yeah,
than actually than than other makers. That's alright. So you
I,
focus
I
more
was
on
actually
you.
thinking. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking about this from a numbers perspective too. Back to the thousand true
Hmm.
fans. It's like if we have 200,000 people in that market, right?
Thank you,
And
Archetype. Archetype is in chat. Thank you,
the
Archetype. Archetype.
archetype.
Yeah. Yes. Follow.
Oh,
Thanks for
the
that.
maker.
Yeah.
Super.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, I see. I see.
Oh.
Oh, dude, bad chat, dude. Definitely got love for that too. Love for him too. But
Have amazing
so
cats.
it's like thinking about it from just like the amount of people who can support. If you have like 200,000 people in that market,
Hmm.
and your goal is to sell, say, 20 caps, you only really need to reach 0.01% of the entire market.
Hmm.
So regardless of all the new makers, right? You're only really if your goal is to just sell to 20 people, like you only really need to appeal to a very small niche. And like I recognize like I don't make super clean machined artisans. I don't make like the cute aesthetic. Like I haven't done encapsulations. And these are all spaces where people can explore their creativity. I believe people can find their community and build it, regardless of how many new makers there are, as long as there's interest. Hope. I mean, that's kind of what I've been running with. Yeah.
Those are good points, honestly. I can see that you don't need to actually cater to like your whole audience. Just enough people to actually buy the amount that you're selling, right?
My fam, yeah. I mean, I feel so grateful. Yeah.
But that's actually I never thought of saw it like that way. But that's actually
Mm.
a nice point. What do you
I mean,
think
it's like you
of?
say, like,
Yeah.
well, a question for you. It's like, what is your motivation for doing these interviews? I mean, I think you're building your community in a very specific space too, right?
Yes. Yes. I mean, honestly, the reason that I'm actually want to do this interview it's like to actually keep like to know the people behind them, right? Today it's you,
Mm.
right? Maybe hopefully tomorrow I can invite Archetype to have an interview as well to
Oh,
to like
I
to
would
like
love to
to
hear
actually
that
meet them,
perspective.
right? To know their process, like, oh yeah, I do this because of this and that, right? Like you have your own reasons, like
Yes.
maybe they see it differently, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah,
I
at least
mean,
on my
and then
case.
that you're. I mean, yeah. Like, I mean, we kind of spoke about this before, but it's like
Hmm.
you're both providing this opportunity for yourself to grow, and then you're helping, like, I mean, you're helping me, like, you're giving me exposure, you're like helping me, like, I mean, I was super scared coming to this, dude. I had no idea what to
I mean,
expect.
I'm pretty nervous
Oh,
as well, honestly. I
yeah,
haven't done a lot of
but
interviews so far, but hey, you seem kind of nice, and
yeah.
I'm actually loving it so far.
No, I just appreciate you making the time, Dave.
Novel ask, what do you think of like IP based artisans, like Gengar, right, from Bob?
Oh, yes, yes.
What do you think of those?
I
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have no uh, perspective of the legal implications, so
Hmm.
I just try to avoid it.
No, no,
But
no,
I
but
mean,
not
it,
legally, but more like
oh, like original design.
yeah, original design.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, I think part of my creative expression is making like whatever designs that I steal from. I mean, I steal from other people. I just don't steal from the Pokemon or like the big hitters. I steal from like the Googles and like the Pinterests or whatever. But I don't know. I think people. I mean, it's not like BOB puts any less energy into their craft, and I think everyone has their space. Like I've seen like there's so like you have to admit the Gengar is super sick.
Yeah,
Like and the
I love
colorways they
them,
make are
but
super sick.
I
I'm
know
not
some
to knock on
people.
anyone's
No,
like
no,
yeah.
but like I know some people who are like, how is it okay? Like they compare things like to
Yeah,
keycaps,
yeah, yeah.
like to HK Gaming,
Yes.
right? Like like they copy colorways, right?
Mhm.
And then they're like, huh? So how is it okay? Like how can you defend like people like Clavier or Bob who have designs based on Pokemon that is like actually IP,
Yeah,
right? To
yeah.
to colorways, right, on HK
Something
Gaming,
random.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so like so it's like but like to me, like the way I see it, like from Bob or Clavier or whoever makes like S-Craft, right, S-Craft design,
Mm.
they like they put their own effort, right, because Pokemon or the Pokemon company, it's not like in the art design game, right, so they're
Yes.
filling that void, right, so and they're
Yes.
only using their RP like to actually show like their skills, right, to
Hmm.
I think it doesn't apply basically, right, that's what I think, right?
It almost seems inevitable. I mean,
Yeah.
as the space grows, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, more people will be introduced and more people have inspiration from different designs. And I think something very similar could be maybe toys, where you have like I just saw the other day like a Dragon Ball Z like kind of hype like design, and I mean it was super sick, and it was no doubt it was a Dragon Ball Z inspired design, but I mean the maker behind it still
Right.
express their craft and creativity through it. But again, I mean, I just try to avoid it, or I avoid it and just steal from the lower level players. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So archetype is it's saying that it's a transformative fan art. You take something from a different realm, out your own twist, and put it in your own expressive way. And I actually agree with that. Honestly, it's very different, and I think like they even said, Scrap Studio said that they got the licensing from the Pokemon company, but they say that the last round that they did, it was very restrictive to what
Mm.
they could do. So they were like, you
Oh,
know what, they said that, you know what, let's do it our way, and maybe next round we actually are going to use the licensing, because like they said that it was very restricted. So I don't know. It's just like,
yeah, it's a whole new sphere. I mean,
mhm.
I think that's awesome that they're able, like the community is growing to be able to collaborate with big hitters like Nintendo, Pokemon. I mean, I saw, I forget who, I'm sure someone knows, but Marvel collab.
Right,
Um,
with drop, right, with drop.
oh yeah, yeah. I forget who the maker was, maybe, but
I think someone from New Zealand. I think something like I don't remember the name, but
it's just awesome to see the community grow like that.
yeah.
It's never what I thought. Yeah.
I mean, like they are like making new sets as well with novelties. It's called
Mm.
SA Tatooine. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's basic. It's licensed by
Star
like
Wars?
Star Wars.
Star
Yeah,
Wars collab?
yeah,
Oh, that's big. That's cool. Uh,
yeah. NC caps, NC caps. Yeah.
oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, they've been there for a minute. But yep, yep.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like I like seeing the community grow, but like as it grows, it has its own, um, you know, bad things happen, right? Like, what do you think of like clone artisans? Because
Oh yeah,
there's a lot of in AliExpress, right? What like
yeah,
do you ever like how will you feel of seeing like your art in AliExpress like cloned by someone else
yeah.
and selling it like for $15?
I need to start like pouring molds of art key. No, yeah, I think it's hard for me to speak to that because I haven't experienced it, but I think that's probably in the realm of licensing and
Mm-hmm.
protecting your intellectual property. The fact that someone can profit off of your own design is something that yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. Um, I mean, if there's some kind of agreement, it's completely different. But
Right, like
I mean,
if it's like
it's also
kind of
really
a
easy,
collab,
right?
right? If you make some
It's
kind
also
of
really
collab.
easy to do. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that also seems like an inevitability too, right? Like, I mean, it's so like I can just as easily grab one. I'm gonna grab one of Archetype's caps and start casting them.
Oh
But
wait,
that have an Archetype go out.
I have the goblin thingy something
No, really?
something. Oh, wait, let me see if I have it here. I have the goblin
No.
thingy.
So yeah,
It's
Archetype say if
it's
you
not
can get
Baby
it for
Yoda by the way.
15.
It's some goblin thingy, right?
Oh,
I have it
yeah. I
here.
mean,
Oh, it's
again, like, oh yeah, yo, I've seen it. Those are so clean, so clean.
I think chat can
Um,
see it here.
but
It's very
yeah,
cool.
I think that's probably up to the. I mean, I think that's the responsibility of the maker, to protect their own work.
Archetype says
Yeah,
that it should if they are selling it for 15, let's hire them up.
yeah, I see you. I see
Actually,
you. Uh, yeah, but I mean, that kind of raises another thing is like I've been questioning is like, are there other ways to approach this hobby than to sell caps? Like one question I heard as a point of reflection is like, oh, what would your business look like if what you offered was for free? And it's just a way to kind of change your thinking. So like, what would it look like if keycaps, if I gave away my keycaps, like how would I be able to create value? Like how would I be able to approach that? So maybe it is like recruiting, like I can
hire
sculpt,
them.
do commission sculpts and then have other people cast. I mean, maybe it is like licensing IP, like, but again, I mean, it's just kind of exercise and thinking about something different.
There will be like really cool to see songwriting, right? You can make this like
Yes.
the
Yeah,
lyrics
like
and then you
samples.
actually selling, yeah, or like
Oh
samples or
yeah.
even lyrics, right? You
Mm-hmm.
do the samples or the
It's like
lyrics
more
and then you
collaborative.
sell them, yeah. And I'm pretty sure that might be more profitable, maybe long run,
Mm-hmm.
if they use them, right? But I don't know. It seems like I don't know. Maybe we're looking way too deep into it, but it will be
I mean,
cool to see.
this is just something I've been sitting with. I mean, like recognizing this is my main thing, right? So
Right.
I gotta
Yeah.
think about the
How can
future
you
in some
protect your
sense.
own art? Because like
Yeah.
China doesn't really care about like IP, right? And it's true. Like
uh,
sadly, they don't. So how do you actually protect yourself, right?
yeah.
will you be willing to sell like some kind of licensing fee to them to and then you making some profit out of them?
I don't know what
Like
that would look
playing
like.
like mind games, right? Like, oh yeah, guys,
Yeah.
don't buy the artisan from them, but you're
And then
actually
they're just
collabing.
promoting.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
actually collaborating with them.
I mean, there's one side to be said that they're still promoting your craft, but I
Mhm.
mean, it's also an exploitation. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to see how to think about that.
Um, I think someone asked, how much money does it usually cost to produce a cap? Will it be cheaper to sell more
Mm,
of them at once at a cheaper price, or does it make it more sense for you
mm.
to sell them at a current price? Like, just
That is a really good question. I think that, oh, so the first question is how much does it cost to make a cap?
yeah.
If you think materials cost alone, it's very inexpensive. Um, so the resin you can buy, the amount of resin you need for say like one cap, I mean it's probably in the dollars. The question is, do you have the demand, or are you able to express what you want, or like are you fulfilling whatever your creative drive or business drive is? And I mean you can have uh, 100 cap mold set of single shots that if people are willing to buy for $15, that's 15. $1,500 right there, right? Yeah. Opposed to making 20 caps, um, of 12 shots that you sell for $50, and that's only $1,000. So it's a completely different way to approach it, and it's not to say one is better than the other. It's just a different business model.
Right.
But for me, yeah, for me, I like to kind of have some a little bit of uniqueness to what I make.
Would you ever
Yeah,
consider
but
changing
again,
from
yeah.
your actual like selling model? Like you're doing raffles, right? Would you ever
Mhm.
think of setting up a website and just selling them at stock? Like here, guys. There's a drop at that time.
Yeah,
Do you do? I don't know. Close my eyes. I don't
like
want to
for
say.
just a
Yeah.
different model. Yeah, I had set up an Etsy store, but I don't really like the idea of I like to have more creative designs, um and just put more energy and thought into them. But I actually have been thinking about a more simple keycap design, that would hope like might be like either manufactured or 3D printed, or milled or 3D printed. So that would look very different than what I would do for, say, one of my current artisans. Um, but again, I mean, I think it's just a different business model approach, different creative approach, and there's so much freedom and creativity. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I can see that. Um, so someone says bots and stress break website without heavy upkeep. That's true. I mean, you have to think. Yeah, there are other things that you need to worry about, like if you have your own store. Yeah, totally.
Hmm.
Something to think about. But like,
Yeah.
there's, like you said, right? Like I don't remember right now the name, but there's a guy, or like a maker. Sorry, I don't know. That he made
Sure.
I don't know. I don't remember. No one knows. It's like a crypt. Like there's bones and I don't remember right now the name.
Is it the pain sculpt?
Yeah, I think the pain,
Brute,
right?
why is it?
I don't remember.
I think it's brute
Oh
cast,
yeah,
right?
yeah, brew calves. Yes,
Yeah.
like he sell his
Yeah,
calves
dude.
like for 20
That's
bucks. It's like I
yes.
can see the
Yes.
amount of detail like he puts in them, and it's like the detail. It's crazy. Like I mean, they might be single shots, whatever, but like the amount that he poured in like on a single cap, the sculpt itself,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
amazing, right? And
It's
like he just
beautiful.
have it,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and he has it on stock. Like, hey, here, buy your thing. I don't
It's
know.
different business. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I have so much respect. I mean, I remember he actually. I'm not sure. I haven't like again. I'm kind of out of touch with the community. I mean, he still has, or they still have other artisans too, that I've seen. But yeah, that paint sculpt is a work of art. That's for sure.
yeah, I agree. And for him to have it in stock and you just, I mean, because it's single shot, right? Like you can keep making more. I guess
Mhm.
that way it's easier to like maintain, people
Mhm.
interest. I guess.
Yeah, and if your intention is to combat
Hmm.
aftermarket, I mean, lowering
Yeah,
your prices and
of
making
course.
more is a definite approach.
Yeah, like I wouldn't see this cap aftermarket unless it's like a one of the one kind,
Mhm.
which he doesn't do, right? Or at least I
Mhm.
haven't seen. Archetype says that he needs to spin up 5 to 6 servers for a raffle sale.
Yeah,
First
that's
come first
crazy.
serve
I
breaks
mean,
our
Archetype,
site.
you hype. Yeah, I got so much respect for the craft. Yeah. Um,
Lower
hmm.
than which, but like sorry, this is for Archetype. Like, how did you do like the sale for the Goblin? Because it was first come first serve. It was a group buy, basically, which is like I don't think they have made another group buy like artisan with like such a nice detail, right? Because I think they did maybe for Black Lives Matter, maybe I think, or Black Friday, because like I don't and I think it didn't sold out in minutes. I think it lasted like maybe an hours, maybe. I don't know, but I don't know how much demand would you need to cover for $100 cap. Well, we were pretty unknown back then. Really? Huh. Real? Well, guess I'm wrong. Compared to, I
I
mean,
do want to hit.
Mhm.
Oh,
Go,
oh,
go.
go on, go on. I was gonna change the subject. No,
It's
no, I was
okay.
gonna change the
Change
subject.
it,
Go on.
change it. It's okay.
it was just a question I saw.
Hmm.
Veshu, Veshu mention a while back.
Hmm.
The question was, what would your advice be to someone who wants to start making artisans? And I mean, I think this is like it's like a pretty big question. For me, it's like it's kind of hard because I feel like I still have a lot to learn, and I'm still learning a lot. Um, I think it's really important. What's helped me is to understand why I'm making artisans. This is kind of like the Simon Sinek start with why. And I think there are other early thinkers who had very similar ideas. It's just like by understanding the reasons you're doing things or your motivations for doing things, it helps you continue even when things may be poor or even when things are good. It just helps you kind of ground in your why and understand why you're doing that. So it might be different. No, Octavia, you're cool. It might be different for someone who's doing it just to share their caps. Like, or maybe someone just wants to be able to um, make 100 caps and share it. So they may have a certain model versus someone who's like, for myself, like trying to sustain myself and actually like make a living. Like I'll approach it very differently. And like for me, the reason why I found keycaps and have been continuing keycaps is I see it as like an amazing experience to both pursue art, which I really enjoy sculpting, and then also business. And that's something that's always intrigued me. It's like the market dynamics that we were talking about, David, and just like more than that now that I'm realizing too is it's crazy like the ability for this art to bring people together, like have conversations like this, be able to talk with people and like have these Discord communities and build and grow and just connect with individuals is something that's been so fulfilling. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but okay, so something more actionable. Go to the Zbut server on Discord.
See
They have a
that.
lot of
Do you have the
resources.
link so I can
Uh,
put? Do you have the invite so I
yeah,
can
I'm
put
sure
it?
I could.
Yeah, so people
Let's
can
see.
actually join.
Yeah, I think there's so many resources. I mean, I've been Geekhack has a lot. I remember seeing like a binge and like a booper tutorial when I first started getting into it. I mean, there's so many people who are willing to help. I mean, hit up my server if you want. Generate copy.
Just put it in the chat so people can see it.
This
I
is
think it's the mentality that you go into making. Like I know like some people. I think it's for like to people to go into artisan making just because they want money, right? I think that's fair as well, right? But I think it's the mentality that you see yourself. The reason that you make caps, right?
yeah, for sure. Drawing. If you're who I think you are, a drawing. I see you, man. But yeah, it's different for everybody. I mean, I just appreciate the intersection of the art, the business, and the people. Most important.
Voodoo Bear asks, if do you prefer to come up with unique colorways to your caps or making colorways inspired by sets that are about to come up?
Dry ice. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, yeah, you definitely know. Actually, I was telling you before that
Mhm.
I'm slightly colorblind. Like in grade
Yes.
school, we took the test. It was like little colors, and I think maybe one out of all of them. Like I can't see this number, so I made something up. But I think in general, I can see most colors, but it has kind of created an aversion for me for colors. So I love it when I can match colors. I mean, drawing he's helped me come up with the hammerhead that I dropped right now. I mean, that was huge credit to you, man. Thank you. Like, and oh yeah, I got you with those guys. So do your trip. I didn't reply to your message, but yeah, like, colorways for me are always fun to experiment with, like learning where best or how best I can multi-shot
Mm-hmm.
or different casting techniques. But my heart is really for the sculpting. Yeah.
So how many sculpting projects do you have right now? Some leaks.
Sculpt,
Yeah,
sculpting
like
projects.
yeah.
Oh, projects. Oh, actually, I'm working on a new cap.
Can we have a leak?
I have actually. I can put it. I guess I'll put my Discord. Let's see. This is actually a new experiment for me. It's the way the way I got this idea, the design idea, is from what our Discord thought of. So I kind of polled people in the Discord and had them vote on different ideas. So right now, I'm in the process of doing like an astronaut futuristic themed cap with a jetpack, and that's kind of all the design we've got going. And I've like been sculpting and messing around with some sketches, but yeah. So hopefully, I'm planning on doing like an encapsulation. So this will be my first experiment in encapsulation. So very much inspired by like Art Key, like space theme, clean, and then I want to try and do like a interchangeable jetpack or like a swappable jetpack maybe, but we'll see. Again, this is like all part of it. It's like a new experience or a new experiment. But I don't know if you find it. It'll be in the colorway designs and feedback. I just have a few pictures of sculpts.
Give me a second. I think we have a little bit of a technical difficulty right now. Give me a second. That fix it? Ah, there we go. We're back. Okay, now it's working again. Oof.
Recover, David. You're the pro. You're the pro.
It's just like if I open Discord, weird things happen on the layout, and I don't wanna. Like that's why I'm hoping like you don't send things through Discord because the layout was horribly. Let me see. I think the one that you did last, like your current cell, you have a current cell right now, right?
Yeah.
Please go check it out.
Dropped a hammerhead.
The hammerhead. Oh, such a cool colorway. I'm sad I didn't like. I was in the hobby already, and I didn't bother the set when it was on group.
Yeah, top. Yeah, the sets. Yeah, there's like small windows.
Yeah, but so cool, man. Oh wait, did you posted the link? Not of your Discover. Like, can you put the like for the screenshot itself? Like, copy the link. Yeah, so I can show it now.
Yeah. I actually have a bunch of. Let me make a quick.
Oh, yeah. That's a yeah. I like leaks, man. What do you think of?
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm happy to share.
Like, do you have a master or like a sculpting you have in hand right now that you're working on with you?
Oh, like in hand? Yeah, I could grab it. The video might be better because I don't know if my.
Oh, the camera, right?
Yeah, I can. Let me go get it. As soon as I do this. All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, chat. How are you guys liking the interview so far? I'm having fun. Es hora de hablar español, amigos. Never. Thank you again for the people who follow while I was in their interview. Sorry, I can't say the following notifications while talking with him.
Actually, just read somewhere that polymer clay might have the potential to like mess up your body in somehow. So I just should probably warn that as a warning. But I guess everything can mess you up. Let's see. Okay, I don't know if the camera can pick this up, but so it's like, yeah, the link will be better. But so far I have like it's clearly like a space theme kind of guy.
It's like a mecha kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to encapsulate. I think I'm gonna cut off the top and then like shine that down, or sand that down, and then hopefully put a jetpack on the back.
That looks so
again,
cool.
So this is a Z-butt. This is a Z-butt sculpting base, and you can see it's like a high-tech handle. You got that clay lump. But I got the. Oh, this will be better. I can drop this.
That looks so cool. Wow.
Yeah, so I guess to put perspective for time, I think I've spent like 2 hours a day for like 2 weeks, I think. So maybe like 20 hours on this so far.
Oh, that looks so cool.
But we'll see. This is a work in progress. And I mean, I've definitely stolen it. See, like with this, like I'm not stealing from Pokemon, but I'm stealing from Art Key, like all the like Curly Caps and Melon Key. Dude, Melon Key is like another sick maker.
Yeah, he is. I haven't been able to win a single one yet. Very salty.
But yeah, so I've been stealing. I've been stealing from the community, not from Pokemon.
Is
But
that like a
again, what's this
middle bet? Like the purple thing on the
metal
video? Yeah, it's a middle?
in the background?
No, on the on the video.
Oh, the base. Yeah, it's. I
Yeah.
think it's aluminum. So you
Ooh,
can bake it. You can't bake this clay, but yeah, it's durable. Uh,
that's so cool.
but yeah, just to finish that thought is like what the saying is like good artists
Seabed
copy and like
base.
great artists steal or whatever. So I'm doing my fair amount of trying to steal. But
But have it stolen stuff from my basement. Give it back.
archetype, I broke in the window. You need to lock up your joint, man.
Oh, I can see the drawing on the back as well. It's so cool. I just noticed it. I was
So
so
those
focused on the
drawing,
sculpt.
I basically copied like all of those helmets except for the bottom ones. I just straight copied. So it's like that's my process. I just find cool stuff, copy it, and then try and make it.
I mean, yeah,
Appropriation, I
like
like that.
appropriation. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. Appropriation is cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Take
I
that
mean, I can see
inspiration
it.
and
It's so cool,
appropriation.
man. Well, looking
Thank you.
forward to.
Thank you for letting me flex, man.
I mean, anytime you can. Like, this is
Or-
a flex channel. That's why I make this channel to flex.
Where's the hamon at? Let's go. Yeah, but
That's so cool. Another topic that someone mentioned, like, do you take commissions?
for sculpting, I don't take sculpting commissions. I think it's just like I've been. No, I don't take sculpting commissions. I would rather put my energy into kind of doing things that I'm very selfish.
Hey,
And
that's okay.
the transition to like so I would much rather work on things that our collective Discord community decides on, and then we can make. But yeah, I've done colorway commissions, but not
Colorway.
sculpting commissions.
Oh,
Maybe one day.
You do commission like
Mhm.
colorway commissions. So that's cool.
Mhm. Maybe one
we
day for
should.
sculpting commission.
Maybe we should arrange something.
Okay, Dave, I got you, man. Just let me know.
Of
Just
course.
let me know.
Um, Adrian says that speaking of Flex, have you seen Bad Habits personal collection? Do you tell him? Do you tell him, or should I?
I mean, I only do. Dry. I don't even have that much. If you're talking about the cups that I've made, oh man, my board of B stocks is quite beautiful.
Wait, do you have like an archives, like for each colorway that you make?
Oh, dude, Keycap Archivist,
No, I know, but like,
amazing project.
yeah, it's
Oh,
pretty
sorry.
cool. But like, do you have it? Like, do you have your own archives? Like,
Oh,
you're like, oh yeah, you know what?
physical?
Yeah, physical art.
Yeah, I
You do?
unfortunately don't. I think this kind of speaks to my perspective of being a make. Like, I would much rather have someone else have that cap than for me to hold on to it. I mean, I'm keeping all the B stocks, that's for sure. I mean, I guess I could show you my board right now, like my Sit Corsair stock thing. Like, so, like right here, these are all B stocks. I don't know if you can see. So it's like I have. You can see the little bear right there has like messed
They
up
graduate,
eyes.
right?
Yeah, and it's like the little tiki's like messed up. All those demons are messed up. Like, yeah, like these shades have bubbles and broken stems, and then all these junk arts have like broken fronts that destroyed my molds. But yeah, I don't know. For bad habits, I guess.
They say a nice
That's
keyword,
fine.
bro.
Yeah, you already know. It's like that. Stock, Amazon, whatever. But yeah, I would much rather give them away. It's
Wow.
like just try and share.
Bulu told me before the interview, like, when are you going to do a rerun for the graduate?
I actually have. I guess I can. I have a few like. Oh man, I have 3 colorways I poured. One I'm actually super excited. I guess I could do this to you. This is gonna be my 420 drop. One of my
Okay.
one of my supporters like requested I try and match an album art cover. If you're familiar with Kid Cudi,
Nope, sorry.
he no, it's okay. He did a let's see, I have to do an imagery right. He made an album collaboration with Kanye West, and the art cover was made by a guy named Takashi Murakami, who designed The Graduate. So there's like a bit of um, a bit of history, I guess. But oh, mom, yeah, exactly, dude.
Oh God,
Uh,
I'm sorry,
the,
guys.
uh,
Shame.
shoot, that's yeah. I went
I'm
to
sorry,
school in San
guys.
Jose, so I hear
I
you.
have terrible taste in music.
Uh,
You shouldn't. Yeah,
yeah,
don't look
so
at me.
that's supposed to.
Yeah. Oh
So
God,
that's
I
supposed to
shouldn't have
actually.
said that. Oh God. Oh God.
No, dude, it's okay. This is where we learn things, man. So it's like supposed to match the Kids See Ghost album, um, which is I don't even know if I can got crazy art.
Oh, let me see.
Shoot, I'm gonna get banned.
Nah,
Um,
don't worry.
yeah, so
Oh,
this artist he's super sick. He's did the, as I said, The Graduate. He's done a ton of his own art. But yeah, I tried to match that. I think it came out kind of something, but I do plan. I think my intention for The Graduate is to do one final drop of OGs and retire that sculpt.
really? What will you
Yeah,
retire? Like, oh, yeah, that's a good question. Like, when do you think it's time to retire as a cult?
yeah. I think I have so many new projects that I'm excited to work on, and I think another thing is I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about retiring it for everything, but maybe like commissions. Like I don't want to do. I don't know. I feel like I haven't been giving it as much creativity as um, I could. So it's kind of just got to end at some point. But
But I mean,
yeah,
like
that's a good
comparing
question.
like to Tiki, right? Like Tiki is one of your first cup, and you're like, yeah, you're gonna keep
Mm-hmm.
making Tiki, like, and great,
I
it's
would I would
Resin,
consider
right?
it. I mean,
Is it
I think
more
it's.
like
I
a
mean,
personal
I
thing?
want to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to be able to focus like on like the new sculpts. Like I really like the way the demon turned out. Like one of the guy with the chain, one of my
Mm-hmm.
recent
Yeah,
sculpts.
I like those.
And just like being able to kind of mess around with that and focus on that more would be kind of cool. And I don't know. I feel like I've hit a lot of kind of different color combinations for the tiki, but I don't know. I mean, this is kind of just again like there's the being able to finish a sculpt and sit with it, and there's I guess has to be a point where I can finish a casting colorways and sit with that.
Okay,
Oh, good
I can see
question. I
that.
mean, this is what I'm asking myself right now too, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I can see people, yes, I can see makers just making more colorways of their own caps and not actually like making new sculpts, right? And
Hmm.
I don't know if that's like maybe the creative like way you see it. It's maybe like like kind of like
Yeah.
weird about it because like I know
Hmm.
some people complain that some makers just keep making colorways instead of actually making new sculpts.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
do you like can you find a balance, right? Right now you're working towards making new
that's a good
sculpts,
question.
right?
Yeah.
Like so.
I think it's different. I mean, so, like there are many makers out there who have way better casting techniques than I do.
Hmm.
Like first off my head, like Tex Destroyer keycaps, like he does some insane stuff. And if you can continue to grow and explore new techniques with your casting with the same sculpt, I think I'm sure there's space for that. Just for me, I like to mess around with the clay and work with my hands, so I see myself sculpting a lot. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an
Honestly,
interesting question.
hmm
I just see Drawing ask if I've ever collaborated on a sculpt. Um, no, but that would be tight. Oh gosh, anyone who's willing. Shoot, who would I love to collaborate with? Um,
who will be like your
I'd really
dream
have to make a study.
maker
Yeah,
to do a collab with? Out of all of
yeah.
the makers,
I'd
like,
really have to make a study of it. I mean, getting into the hobby, the people who inspired me most were Keyforge for sure. Seeing the like Orochi, his mayhem. Um, who else was in there? Binge made some sick stuff. Um, and then like now, I think I hit like a lot of the sculptors. I mean, like Archetype, I see him with the kind of like cutout skull, like where you revise your current sculpt. That's such a sick idea. Uh, I mean, Arcie's killing it. Like there are so
Or
many top tier makers that just
I can see
yeah. I
that.
mean, being able to work with them would be pretty tight. But yeah, Mhm.
Oh, the
Yeah, I didn't even know
Bloomim,
you could.
the Boomim
What is that?
from Prime Caps, I think. It's like the face. It's like I think it's let me see, Prime. I think it's Prime Caps.
Oh, I've seen. I'm
The
not
Bloomim.
sure of the exact scope, but I've seen several Prime Caps collabs and stuff. Yeah, yeah, Prime Caps and Night Caps. Those
Oh,
are so
like
clean.
those are
It's
really
like the
clean.
Fugu. It's like the Fugu with the. Yeah, yeah. But
Prime and Night
I don't
Caps.
know.
Yes. What do you think of Night Caps?
That's a. Oh yeah, Nightcaps. That's
OG,
Nightcaps is
right?
a great example of casting like top tier casting techniques. Like I don't even know how they do a ton of their stuff. And shoot, if you can make 100 fugus, like wait, that's not yeah. If you can make 100 fugus, like and they all look dope. Like I think
Yeah,
that's
he has
awesome.
some really sick
Um,
colorways, and if you manage to like
mm,
have the whole
but
set, it's like crazy, having a
again, I mean,
set.
there's so many skilled people in this game. But yeah, John, that's a good question. I really have to say that. Um,
Oh, let me see.
yeah. We're getting there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I like it so far. Like, it's been great, honestly.
Dude,
Like
I'm,
between you and me, like we have a different perspective, At least like in collecting artisans itself, right? Like you don't collect, basically, and I do collect them. Like
yeah.
I like even
Mm,
like my tofu, right? That's my first keyboard, like custom.
mm,
I can't throw it away. Like it's like yeah, it's my first kid. Like it's like the
significant.
sentimental, you know. It's
No.
just yeah, but
Mm,
like you do, but like it's like yeah, like yeah, whatever. Like goodbye,
it's, yeah,
cat.
like you said, different perspective. Different
Yeah.
perspective. Yeah. I mean,
It's
I find a
crazy.
lot of joy in being able to sculpt and share. And again, like, it's just different perspective.
Perfect. Yeah. I collect L's. Mitsu archetype. Mitsu.
That's the name of the game. That's the artisan
I
artisan
actually
mode right
won
there.
one ruffle today. What was? No, I don't remember. Wait. I have it. I have it on. I I got the email. Give me a
That's
second,
a good
guys.
question.
I have from Fractal Designs.
Oh, fractal cuts.
Yes, I won the Sogu. It's like a dog ish. It's pretty cool.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
fractal caps. Again, another. I mean, they're like their blanks like so sick. Oh my gosh. I have a chest now.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a fan of the blanks. Like I'm not a fan of
Oh, the
encapsulated.
encapsulated blanks.
Yeah, I'm like
Oh,
this.
that's
Well,
fair.
they don't say, but uh, I'm not a big fan of those. I don't like.
Mm.
I don't know why. I know they're popular and people love them, and they die for them.
Yeah.
But I'm like, like I enter like I'm honest. I enter for
Yeah.
this for the for the I don't know I don't know the name of the sculpt now and the doggo. I won the doggo. And it's like
Mhm.
it's a collab with Red Alert, which is the set that I'm going to buy this month. So I'm really happy about that.
Oh, that's
Honestly,
seriously.
you need to make more red caps.
Mm.
Just saying, red with white. That's my colorway.
Yo, red is sick. Dude, I
I
did that.
love red,
Yeah,
man.
I do appreciate my reds. Mm. Yes. There's so much potential for colorways. I mean, I feel like yeah, I have a lot to learn with casting and sculpting.
It's so cool.
Oh,
Oh, is it a time to complain with archetype that we didn't win the Pepe? Is it a time? Can I complain? I'm sad. It was such a cool sculpt. Hopefully, we can see reruns in the future. But yeah. Uh,
the drawing had a question for you, Art.
oh, what? Who?
He says that recognizing you collect, like who do you collect from, and do you ever get a chance to talk with the
Ah.
makers?
Well.
Dude, perfect. I
Oh,
see you, Mike. I got you. Sorry.
wait. I have like a nice story. Like this is from well, chat can see it, right? This is from Binurius. It's like the dragon.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
So this
Yeah.
is a 101.
Boy.
This is a 101. I even have the authentication card. So the way that I won this one, it was because I I I I bought GMK Olivia Extra Dark, and I was like, and then I got it, and I was like, I'm not a big fan, so I put it on Lake Market, and Binary sent me a message. She was like, oh, I'm gonna buy it. I wanna buy it from you. I'm like, okay, and because she told me she didn't really use Reddit. So I asked her, is there a way I can like verify who you are? Like, I don't want to get scammed, right? And she told me like, oh yeah, yeah, this is my Instagram, and I was like, oh, I see. And then I told her, okay, look, I can give you a discount like for like it was like $60 or $70 if you can make one in my colorway. And I asked her, I just want a simple red and white for GMK Classic. I'm sorry, GMK Classic Red, and she did, and so she made me this one. I love it. It's like it's not, I don't really talk with the makers. I don't. I'm very shy in general, you know. But like the reason that I sent you the message, it was simply because I wanted to know what was the when was the due date to pay the invoice, you know.
Yeah, I remember. That was my bad. I got back too late on that too.
Yeah, I mean
But
it's okay. I mean it's just like it was like, oh, because I know usually it's like 24 hours, right? But
yes.
I was like, is it 24 hours in this? And I couldn't remember. I was like,
I
dude,
was like starting. Yeah.
like
Yeah,
that's the only
yeah.
reason that I really talk with them, you know. But I would love to like keep in touch with them, with hopefully Archetype will be willing to do an interview with me and chat a bit.
Yeah,
Um,
I drop into that.
but yeah, I mean, I would love to. I honestly like you said, I try to go by a sculpt. Thank you for the follow, Lucas. I try to go by a sculpt, and if it's red, it's even better. Like most of my caps that I have, like the majority are red, or like
Mm.
some like even orange e. So if it's red and the sculpt that I want, it's like that's I need to have those. And I have
All right,
some
so I'll have
that
to do a
yeah,
classic red. That's easy.
yes, easy.
That's a
So
beautiful story, man.
yeah, and it's like a nice story to be honest. I was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
it's a simple collab, a nice
Hmm.
commission. But yeah,
Hmm.
but I don't really go for a maker. I'm like, if I like it, I see and they're making a raffle, then yeah, why not?
Hmm.
There's of course there are some artists that I'm like, oh yeah, this is like I cannot tell, right? This is a must, right? Like the bongo guy, right? The bongo, um, oh the Greg. I have the Sodicap Greg collaboration. Have you seen it?
Which one?
Do you know
Let's scroll.
Jim K. Greg? Oh fuck, you're gonna see it.
Wait,
Uh,
GMK Greg? Like,
yeah. Do you know Jim K.
what?
Greg? You don't know Jim K.
Oh,
Greg?
I haven't even heard. Yeah, I'm
What?
telling you, I'm out of touch with
It's
the.
the best set
How
ever.
do I not even
Best.
know? It was like,
It's the best
wait, what?
2020 set.
Oh, dude, I've seen this. I saw this. It's hilarious.
So I was able
Oh,
to
dude.
win it. I was so I couldn't believe it. And it's so nice.
Oh, dude, this is hilarious. I remember seeing that the keycap set. Man,
It's the
maybe I should
best
get it
set.
just for the
Best
meme.
set.
Just for the memes, dude.
I bought like almost all the kits except the yellow, the black and yellow kit.
Hmm.
It was like this is a must.
Oh, dude, that one is a meme in itself. Oh my gosh.
Archetype says that
Yeah, I guess I should.
only if you hijack the interview, he's willing to make an interview with
Nah,
you.
dude, interview's over, man. We're just chilling. Yeah,
It's so
I'll
good,
be
right?
there. I'll be
People who
there.
don't like Greg, they have a problem. Honestly,
GMK Greg, I mean that's a little loud. Yeah,
people, it's like
yeah, that one's,
Thunderbait
I don't
but
know.
better.
It's like borderline so bad, like people are almost forced to think it's good. It's like,
Oh
yeah.
please, I think the interview is over now, guys. He doesn't like Greg. Okay, boys, here's
Hey, no, I
that's
would
it.
say I get it for the memes. Yo, freaking Slime showed me this Winnie the Pooh mechanical keyboard. It was so awful. It was beautiful. It was like same
I think I
same
saw
theme.
it. It's pretty cool. I like
It was,
yellow
I mean,
sets.
I think it's Maybe it was just good. I don't know. I can't say. It was amazing.
Funny enough that we're talking about yellow sets. This Monday I shall be getting JMK Honey. Finally.
JMK Honey.
Yes.
I feel like anytime you actually get a keycap set, it's like cause for major celebration.
Oh,
Like you
I
wait
try to
days.
get artisans collabs. Like I'll have yellow artisans just for JMK Honey. You know, like the
Oh, that's
yellow
cool.
caps.
And that's what I do. That's oh wow. Mm-mm-mm. That's the way I do it. Then your board looks that much like more uniform. So clean.
Um. Okay. Um. Um. Do you ever had a moment? Okay.
No, wait,
People
sorry.
are
I'm just
people are
laughing at
bullying me. I think in
novels a
chat.
bit.
People are bullying me in chat.
I mean, it's like.
Shake my head.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go
It's
ahead.
okay. It's
Uh,
okay. Ari doesn't know who Kid Cudi is, and
Kid
GMK
Cudi.
Greg is distant.
It's okay,
Shake my
man.
head.
It's like
Sad.
if you were born here, you would know. You know. I'm sure you know a lot of music that's foreign to me.
Sad noises, man. Okay, like more back to a more serious topic, right? Did you ever had moment where you're like, you know what, I'm dropping making artisans, I'm done with the hobby, let's
Oh,
move on.
yeah. Phew, changing flow. Yeah, dude. Moments where I was like wanted to quit. To be honest, no. But like I've definitely had my huge failures. Like, dude, my first sale was a disaster, man. Yo, like, all right. Let's see. Okay. My first drop was when I was sharing my tikis,
Mm-hmm.
and I did 4 multi shots. I think I made maybe like 20 caps. I'm like, okay, this is like super anxious, like scared to share, and post on Mech Market. Let's see what happens, right? Raffle was awesome. I got incredible feedback. I was able to sell out all of my caps. I was super hype.
How
I
do you
shipped
remember? Do
like
you remember how many entries you had?
I think I had maybe like 50 entries or something, enough to
Dang.
like sell out. So I was cloud nine. I was so happy, and set up my PayPal account, sent out the invoices, and shipped them. And I was like really excited for the next drop. I think about like a week later, I started getting PayPal notices of processing issues with invoices. It turned out that I set up my PayPal wrong,
Mm-hmm.
where all of the invoices I sent got canceled. So I had to create a new account and then recharge all of these people and go through that process. On top of that, I find that the caps I shipped were garbage. Like I didn't test them thoroughly enough so that they didn't fit cleanly on the stems. So like you tap them and they just fall off. And I mean that
Oh
was
no.
just poor quality control. So it was like I shipped shitty caps and I was just I was stuck. I was
Did
like really I was actually really embarrassed and like
did people
felt pretty
complain
ashamed.
though? Like, do you guys like message on Instagram asking you
Oh
about it?
my gosh, man, this is like credit to the community. Like people just hit me up and like, yo, if my cap doesn't fit, like, can you help me in any way? It's like no one flamed me. It's like something I think is it speaks to what's unique about artisan community. It's like so much positivity. It might be like the one space in the internet that isn't just like memes and well, now we got memes, but isn't just like flame and trash. I mean, it's like so supportive. But anyway, so I ship all these like crappy keycaps, and then it's like, all right, now I need to really change my game and reevaluate. But that was a huge. I mean, that was probably. I mean, starting out, that was a big low. Um, but
I
I think I was.
mean,
I think I. Yeah. I think instead of quitting, I think I just like had to hold myself to like a certain standard and just like hold myself accountable. And because if I didn't do that, then I had really no reason to continue. So it's just like no, I had to fix it. But yeah, it was a strong. No, it was a weak. It was a pretty weak start. But
I mean, if you
yeah,
start low, then you can go lower, right?
that's true. I mean, I've been fortunate. I mean, I've definitely shipped caps that have had issues, but again, people have been super accommodating. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say that I'm still at it.
Well, I mean, you're still here, right? And that's what counts. Honestly, like I know
Mm,
people like I think the hard part is like starting out, having like a
yeah,
decent sculpt,
yeah,
like a nice mold that you can actually
yeah.
keep making colorways of.
Mm.
Um, Wait, when was your first raffle sale?
Yeah, I see you, John. I think it was like 2 years ago because last year was. Now I can check my drive. Uh,
Start your
I mean,
first sale
speaking
with a
to
scam. Nice. Actually true.
this camp, dude, straight up, I felt so bad. I was like, oh my god. I mean, I was happy when people didn't fulfill their faulty invoices. Like, I was like,
Oh boy.
oh man, just you can get like a garbage gap. But
I mean,
I mean,
you did
I
offer
mean,
right a replacement.
refund or replacement. I mean, a lot of I mean, yeah, I had to do something.
Hey, at least you
Okay,
did.
first
Like you
drop.
didn't like
Yeah,
you didn't try to put it under the rug or anything like that. So that
yeah,
that
my
speaks a
honor
lot
was
of
at
you.
stake.
I
Yeah,
know. I
it
mean,
was
and
like,
there's some people who they don't care probably, but like I know most on the community. At least I haven't seen like people who try to be negative or you know but
yeah, I mean, that just speaks to, I mean, how incredible this space is. Yeah, I think
um
it was, well, maybe it was one, maybe it was, I started selling a year ago. I mean, no, 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 2019. Oh, no, no, yeah, 2 years.
2018.
2019.
Oof, that's
Jeez.
jeez.
Mm, But,
Okay.
I mean, I hadn't been consistent when I first started. And dude, I definitely had my fair share of raffles where I got like 3 entries. Um,
Really?
I mean, I think that just reflected how trash the casts I was casting. Like, it just wasn't high quality casts. So I accept that.
What will you do in that case that you only get like 3 entries or four, right? What will you
Think
do with
that,
this?
that I got 3 entries. What would I do? As I would if I got 100 entries, ship caps and then
I mean, I know,
reevaluate.
but if there's, I mean, who will you sell it to if there are only three people who like filled the form?
Oh, with the leftovers.
Yeah.
I actually still have some of them. I just recognize it's I think a vote of quality. I mean, if
Hmm.
maybe I can give them away. Actually, no, I have given away. I did do giveaways, but I think that is like it just reflects that if it's not quality, then it's just not worth sharing. I mean, I can't everything like I can't share,
Right.
or may not be worthy of sharing. But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't really sell on
I had a question right now. What?
it.
It just left my mind right now. God damn it.
Oh,
Um,
jeez. Oh yeah, my IG alligator.
about to head off. Thanks for the inside conversation, you guys. Oh, anytime.
Oh, he's Mike. Dude, it's always good. Man, it's always good to see you. Whatever form it is.
Okay. Do you think it's time to finish?
Sure. I mean,
Um,
I'm down to go get some food.
yeah. I mean, I don't know what time is there, but before we finish, this is the most important
Yes.
question that I have for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Um, do artisans belong in a stand or on a keyboard?
In a stand or on a keyboard? You talking about artisan makers or artisan keyboard? Shoot. Well, I mean, I'm not. My perspective is very different than the collector
I
perspective.
know. That's why I wanna know.
I would say. I mean, I think it's important for people to put them in a place where they can appreciate it most. I mean, whether that be on a stand or a keyboard. I mean, there's some sick stands that really highlight the craft of both the um, cases and the keys. But I mean, if you can have it on your board and hit it every day, I mean, that's also a very different way to appreciate it. So I'm gonna go with a no answer for that one.
No. You have to pick.
I'll
You
say
have to
both.
pick. You have to pick.
Oh, I
There's
have to
some.
pick.
Yes, you
Oh
have to
shoot!
pick. There's a
Alright.
right and a wrong answer for this
A
question.
stand or a keyboard? Shoot. I mean, I think it really depends on how many you have, but I would, if like all the ones that I enjoy, I have them on my keyboard. I guess that answers it right there. Like I don't have any cases. I have them on my keyboard. What's the right answer? Did I fail?
Yes, the wrong answer, buddy. They belong on a stand. Always on the stand. Always.
Dang. But
Always
then
on
you
the
having to
stand,
pay
buddy.
for another stand. It's like,
You can ask Archetype for a stand. They made
wait,
a
is
group
it
by like a
called? Is
couple
it
of
called?
months.
Is it r/mechanical keyboards or r/mechanical keyboard stands? I'm not sure what the subreddit is.
I don't know. But like,
I'm just,
look, it's okay. You
oh
gotta run
man.
the first time. Maybe next time you'll get it right. But just
I
letting you
need to
know that.
study. I need to like, you hit me with the questions, but I need to study better. That's better.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just for future reference, always artisans go on stand. Okay. Always. There's
God,
there's
stand.
there's
you
a
making
right
a stand?
answer for
You trying to
this.
plug your stand?
Yes.
Oh man. All right. I can live with being wrong on this one. That's okay. Oh, I hear
Okay.
you. Yeah. See, you gotta have two. You gotta have them both. You
No,
gotta
I
have
know.
both. But
Stand is
no,
the way,
man.
boys.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate the time, man. Mm.
Okay, okay, buddy.
Booty,
Argument
let's go.
invalid after critic. Okay,
Let's
buddy.
go. No.
I'm gonna
Yo,
start
thank you for
making
the
a
time,
stemless
dude. I had a
artisan.
lot of fun.
Can I get some stemless artisans? Yes,
I have
please.
a box,
I don't
that's
put
for
it on
sure.
the keyboard.
Oh.
I don't need stems. Fuck the stems, boys.
And then is it a keycap? It's different. It's different.
I don't know. It's just resin then. Resin in a sculpted way.
I mean, it's valued differently, right? It's
I mean, who needs the stems anyways?
that's fair.
Well, I would like to thank like all the viewers that were able to be here. Thank you, Greg, for coming to the first episode of Resin Talk. Yeah. Do you have any last
Thank you
words?
for having me, David. Oh, last words, man. I mean, it's great to see everybody in the chat. Like, just be able to talk real time. I mean, instead of delay messages. And again, I really appreciate you reaching out. And I mean, best luck in your interviews going forward. I feel like you're on a great path.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, hopefully we can repeat this down the line.
I'm game.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right then. Yeah. You have a good night, man.
Yeah. You too, guys. Take care. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Chad. See you tomorrow. Oh well, wait, not tomorrow. This Sunday is my birthday, guys. So I won't stream tomorrow because I'm going away. So sorry about that. I forgot to mention that. But anyways, I will see you on Monday, guys. So take care. Thank you, Greg, again. See you guys.
Oh, sorry. Before we leave,
Yes.
one thing I wanted to plug. Minerly is doing
Oh, right. I
event.
don't mind. I think it's called.
Yes, it's to raise awareness for mental health, and she's hosting a stream tonight at 11:59.
Ah, can we rate her? Wait, is she?
No, I
is
think
she live?
actually, I don't know if she's on. Maybe she's on, but
Oh,
the
she's
stream
not
is
on.
going to be again. I think she's going to have several guests, and I'm actually not sure what the format is, but I know she's been doing a lot to raise awareness for mental health issues, and she's been really open. And I mean, she's incredible. Also from San Jose, what's up, South Bay? But yeah, definitely give her some love if you guys have time at 11:59.
Yeah, please, guys.
I can post the link in chat. Well, you already got that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing giveaways too. So I mean, even more reason. But yeah, sorry to cut you off.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
okay.
dude,
It's
happy
okay.
early birthday. Have a
thank you,
good weekend.
Yeah. This is an important matter. The mentally raising awareness for things like this. So please go check her out. And yeah, that will be it, guys, for today. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
All right, good night.
Good night, boys.
Mm.